everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. And today we're here in central Birmingham, and for those of you who've been watching the videos recently, you may have seen we've looked at an overview of the criminal justice process, and some of that included the court structure. So we're here in central Birmingham today. It's got out of Birmingham Snow Hill Station. It's well connected to the other stations around, and we're in a place called Colmore Row, and this is not far from the Magistrates and Crown Courts. So we've got Colmore Row here. The Crown Prosecution Service West Midlands office is based here, and I thought it would be a good idea just to reinforce some of the learning that we've done recently on the court structure and look at both Birmingham Magistrates and Birmingham Crown Court. So we're just going to head over there now. Just a reminder, we've streamlined the criminal litigation syllabus for the BSB, for the bar course. It's 28 units, but we've tried to just streamline that into 10 overview chapters, looking at the process all the way from arrest and charge all the way up to the criminal trial, and then the sentence and appeal. So chapter 1, we looked at the structure of the court system in England and Wales. And if you remember, for adults over 18, it is slightly different for youth courts. But for all adults, the first hearing is always in the Magistrates' Court, no matter how serious the offence. And we looked at the different types of offences. So summary offences, either way offences, and indictable only offences. Just a quick recap then as we walk towards the Magistrates' Court. Just spin around. That was the station over there. So the Magistrates' Court deals with the most low-level offences, so things like speeding, like low-level crime. And then you've got the indictable only offences, which are tried by jury in the Crown Court, but they still start in the Magistrates' Court for the first hearing. And if you remember, the episode chapter 2 or 3 of the series looks at the first hearing of a criminal case, and that's always in the Magistrates' Court. And this is the plea. So you're read, it's an arraignment, and then you're read out the charge, and then you have to notify whether you want to plead guilty or not guilty, or even defer the plea to a later date. And sometimes the PTPH hearing, pre-trial preparation hearing, which comes on later down the line, can be used for the plea. And we looked at one chapter, we looked at types of evidence and disclosure, and sometimes it's important for the defendant to know exactly what evidence is against them and how strong their individual case is before they make that plea. So we're just coming down now. We've been walking for about 3-4 minutes. This is central Birmingham here. It's very well connected in terms of bus routes and trains, if you did want to visit the area. So yeah, so we get to reviewing all of the information, and then you can make a plea based on that. Or if you're not ready, then you can do no plea on occasion at the first hearing. But the first hearing is always in the Magistrates' Court, which we're coming to now. And in fact, we're going to look at the comparison between the two courts. They're not very far away, but very different in terms of how they work. Just going to walk down here. Okay, so we just walked down from the train station. Now we can actually see within the same shot both courts. You can see the Crown Court in front of me, and then there is some building work being done there, but it's actually an older building, Birmingham Magistrates Court. You can see the scaffolding up there. This is the Crown Court. It looks fairly empty at the moment. Let's get out of the way in this vehicle. So we're going to come back shortly to the Crown Court. We're just going to have a look at the Magistrates Court to keep in line with the stages of the process of the criminal case. So the Magistrates Court is here. So you can see this old red brick type building here. We're getting some work done, and there's an entrance just over there. You can see the entrance. Just going to read some of my notes here. Yeah, so it's fairly quiet at the moment. It's about 10:24. Most courts actually start their sittings around about 10 o'clock. So often you'll see in the Magistrates Court here, a number of people will be waiting outside to go in. They would have had a summons or a notice of intended prosecution or single justice procedure to turn up to the Magistrates Court to hear their case. And if that's just a very basic offence, sometimes they haven't got any legal cover, and there's someone called a duty solicitor who just sits in the court, or stands in the court and waits for cases, and often they get the case on the same day, 5 minutes before. So between 9 and 10 ordinarily they would probably meet up with the client and just go through the evidence against them. It's all done electronically now. But in terms of the actual defendant, they'll go in there, discuss with their lawyer. If they haven't got a lawyer, they'll be appointed one or offered one. Sometimes they, for very low level offences, they can opt to represent themselves if they... It's never a good idea though, because obviously they'll not have the full understanding of the law. But they'll get arraigned, and then they'll be asked if they plead guilty or not guilty. If they plead guilty, then it's straight on to sentencing. And for the very low level offences, the sentencing can be done in the Magistrates Court. And remember, you've got a lay bench in the Magistrates Court. There's 3 lay members of the community. The 3 lay members of the community, the magistrates, are joined by a legal advisor, and they can determine sentence on certain offences where it doesn't exceed their sentencing powers. And go back to some of the longer videos in the Criminal Litigation Series to see a bit more information on that. But in terms of a trial, if they do plead not guilty and they want a summary trial, they'll do it here in front of the lay bench. But sometimes they wish to have a jury trial, and I think we did go over the benefits of having a jury trial. 12 members of the general public who may be more sympathetic to your case, and they could opt for a jury trial, and they'll be sent to the Crown Court for a later date. Also, in addition to that, sometimes the magistrates may ask the case to be sent to the Crown Court if they feel that their sentencing powers are insufficient to deal with the level of offence, and that's particularly important for the either way offences. But if it is an indictable only offence, they'll be pleading there and it'll be set for a later date in the Crown Court, and then all of the workings will be going on, preparing for trial if they've pled not guilty. If they have pled guilty for an indictable offence, it will be sent to the Crown Court and district judge. So a judge will be looking at the case here, and they'll decide on the sentence. And I'm going to go in, there are reporting restrictions, so you can't actually record inside the court. So we're going to have to end the video fairly soon. But in terms of the actual court, there's a district judge will decide on the offence. And some people feel as though, in terms of sentencing, they may be more understanding of the law compared to the magistrates. Obviously the magistrates have got a legal advisor to assist on the law, but in terms of the Crown Court, it will be a lawyer, judge. In terms of the Crown Court, once the trial date is set, you'll see, again, this is about 10 AM or 10:30, so people have already gone in. So at 9 o'clock you'll see members of the general public queuing up as the jury, and they'll be taken to a holding room whereby they'll be waiting for their case to be allocated to them. So it's all done at random. A jury is selected at random to try a case. There are some interview rooms where your lawyer will sit down with you, and also once in that consultation they'll discuss the case, how it's going, and whether if they want to change their plea or just general advice. If a person is on the stand, then they can't meet with them to discuss strategy, and they're still under oath and they can't discuss the case with anyone. We did look at the role of the jury and their limitations. They've got strict restrictions as to what they can do, and I think we did touch upon it within one of the videos in the Criminal Litigation Series, that you can actually be sent to prison and it's a criminal offence if you do contravene some of those rules. So it's very important to understand that, and I think we will make a video very soon about a case where someone just researched the law and an usher overheard them in the holding room, and they were charged with an offence, and they've recently been found guilty, or pled guilty. So hopefully that's just a brief overview of both the courts. There is more detailed look at the comparison between the two courts on the other videos. You can see many different types of people going in. So we've got the police, who often would give a witness statement in trial when they first met the defendant or arrested the defendant, and they'll be giving evidence. And you also got lawyers, and then you've got the defendants. You've got just the general public. So I'm the general public today, just going to go in and watch a few cases, just view the advocacy. And then you've also got the jury, members of the public, just going in to watch. So hopefully that was useful insight as to where Birmingham Magistrates and Crown Courts are, and also some of the key differences. But as I said, it's just a snapshot. But yeah, hope to see you on the next video, and it's bye-bye for now.